Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Daily Bone podcast, where we discuss all things crypto market. That includes majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss all of the news coming out of Solana Breakpoint. We're going to talk a bit about MicroStrategy, raising some more cash to buy some more Bitcoin. Michael Saylor lining those Bitcoin pockets up a bit. And we're going to dive into some macro and meme coin TA. We brought on a special guest for this. I want everyone, in the comments, in Twitter Spaces, give a little comment. Welcome, Greeny.
What's going on, everyone?
Expert Bodago trader, TA, meme coin trader. Love to see him. Greeny, how you doing today?
Doing well, thanks, Ray. Great to be here, guys. Sig, hope you're doing well as well.
Yeah, love that. Love to have you on. Was really excited. I listened to your presentation in the Bodago's Discord on meme coin TA, and I just learned so much there. I had to bring you on to give your experience to the masses. I'm going to link the YouTube and Twitter. I highly recommend you watch this on YouTube, this episode, because Greeny does some amazing TA. He's great at looking at patterns for meme coins and figuring out like where we're going to be going next. That being said, Sig, how you doing today? How you feeling?
I'm so happy we have Greeny. It's just like perfect. 50 basis point cut, Bitcoin pumping, ETH pumping, Solana pumping, meme coins just on a ripper. And we've got the meme coin master himself. I absolutely love following you, Greeny. I'm always like looking at your charts and being like, he says there's a wedge, it might break out. And I'm like, do I do it? Do I follow Greeny? And actually some of your takes have really made me some nice little cash. So good to be here. Your up-to-date thoughts on what's going to be happening in the market over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, love to see it. Excited to dive into that. And, we're going to have a busy day because we're going to be playing Top Dog at the end of the day, at the end of the show too. So how about we just jump into it right away? You want to kick us off with the weather report here, Signal?
Yeah, I thought we are going to be ending on a Signal report, but when the other half doesn't turn up, it just becomes a Signal report. So let's do a Signal report for Friday, September the 20th. Looking at the crypto roundup, the majors, they've been continuing to run. We've got Bitcoin at lovely 63.5K. Ethereum finally moving up as well at 2,550 and Solana at $150. I'm still waiting for my one sold from Nick. That guy better pay up. The leading top 100 coin was Sui, which is up 14% to a 4.1 billion market cap. Over the past 24 hours, top three stories. Well, firstly, Zach XBT provided investigation details surrounding the theft of over 240 million in a social engineering attack. The hack occurred in August, and Zach was able to assist in the recovery of millions of lost funds and multiple arrests. So well done, Zach. Secondly, Michael Saylor has got set to add to the Bitcoin piggy bank as MicroStrategy completed a $1 billion offering of convertible senior notes. 500 million of the 1 billion will be used to acquire additional Bitcoin and for general corporate purposes. The guy's just going to keep buying the top. And finally, a court approved the bankruptcy plan laid out by Terra partner parent company Terraform Labs. The plan will repay creditors between 180 million to 450 million, with the SEC unlikely to receive any of the 4 billion settlement they initially sought out. This is why Gary is going after Flyfish Club. All makes sense now. Anyway, that is all for the weather report. It's back to you folks in the studio.
Fantastic weather report as always, Signal. I see Kashmir in the comments saying Kicks looks different today. No strip. So love that one. First thing I want to bring up is this Zach XBT like investigation. I don't know if anyone else looked into this. But this was like pretty crazy. There was a group of people who like socially engineered one user into losing $243 million. It's like crazy what they did. They like called Google. So they called like using a spoof number for Google support. They did another spoofed call using Gemini support. They got them to reset their 2FA. And then they also got the victim to like screen share and got their private keys that way. So like this user was probably like in a panic trying to save their crypto, and then in reality just got scammed. Zach XBT actually led to the arrest of these guys and also like recovered a good chunk of this. What I found was like kind of like entertaining and interesting is like Zach posted like a video here of like them like making the hack and like celebrating. I just want to like play this because I think it's like a little interesting seeing the other side of this and just seeing like these like pieces of shit. I'm just gonna call them what they are.
I see it.
Doing this. Here it is.
It's on the blockchain. No fucking way, nigga.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
No fucking way.
Yeah, so like that's them just basically celebrating the hack. Like it's showing their Discord and Telegram chats, like all this. Like I can't believe, like, like I don't know if like to do the hack is one thing, but then like to be like screen sharing it and like having it like public and like able to be recorded is
Wait,
just
so they
unreal.
managed to do the hack and they got caught because they were boasting on the timeline, or they got caught because Zach just went and did his thing and caught them, or were they boasting about the fact that they managed to get the 240 million?
No, so that wasn't on the timeline. Zach uncovered that video. I don't know whether it was through Discord, through Telegram, or if like one of them kind of turned. But like on those the videos and the screen shares, like Zach was able to like get their names. Like two of the hackers like released their names. They were able to like find their location, get them like arrested, and then like recovered and froze a good amount of the funds. And he goes through like all of the different like laundering methods they used. It's a pretty good read. I'm gonna link it in the Twitter space. I'll pin it. So if anyone wants to take a look at that, definitely super interested. But like crazy to see Zach XBT doing his thing, and crazy to see people still getting hacked for hundreds of millions of dollars in this space.
It's crazy. He's probably had actually one of the most interesting growth stories in the space. I mean, the guy a few years ago was just helping people recover stolen JPEGs. And now he's sort of graduating and is like catching people who are doing hacks for 240 million and actually putting them away. So like, you know, well done to Zach as well. He's a real asset to the space. And really glad those assholes got caught.
Yeah, 100% agree. Look, I actually read through this as well. And I mean, like, if you have 230 million or 240 million, why are you not running away, buying an island somewhere and just living the rest of your life out? Like, seriously.
Yeah, no idea. No idea. Welcome, Kicks. Good morning. Good to see you. We've got Dollar Store Greeny now. People were calling Greeny Kicks without nose strips, and we'll call you Dollar Store Greeny.
I love it. Let's go, dude.
DS,
DSG, baby. That's my acronym.
How you feeling today?
Good, man. Not too shabby.
Awesome. Love to hear it.
Got 8 hours of sleep. Don't feel like it. I think the nose strip was malfunctioning or something.
Do you always sleep with the nose strips?
Sometimes I don't. Like, just because I'm afraid I'm going to get like a permanent skin like redness on my nose. So I have a few off days. You know, just like, you know, off days at the gym. I have a couple off days. I cycle off.
I hope you're wearing Factor 50 so that you don't get that like change in skin color when you're going to take off that bandage. You know,
what's a Factor 50?
No, sun cream. I hope you're wearing a sun cream Factor 50.
No, I don't wear sunscreen. I don't shampoo my hair. I don't wear deodorant either.
I like
you'd be the perfect participant at Solana Breakpoint then.
Yeah, people don't like me to hug them anymore just because I smell.
Yeah, I'm liking the glasses. Like we got Neo Kicks again. You can like see a nice little reflection out the window. We can see what's going on with the neighbors. It's a nice little.
It's not too reflecting because my desk is like disgusting. If like people saw the state of my desk, they would be like, "You have a mental disorder." You could probably see it a little better in these reflections. So that's why I don't wear those.
Little Mogul action. We'll get into some Mog later today, I think. We're gonna jump over to Solana Breakpoint news. Like a ton of information is coming out. Easy's live on the stage, providing some of the information. We saw Franken Dancer go live on Solana mainnet, and the full Fire Dancer code dump is now live on testnet. Basically, what this means is like Solana shutdowns are a thing of the past. There's gonna be a path for a dual client, which means there's gonna be 2 instances of Solana live. So if one fails, there's gonna be a failsafe. So awesome to see that on the tech side as well. I know we also had some news out of Wormhole, I believe. Yeah, some major news out of Wormhole. Securitize is basically going to be using Wormhole for all underlying tech, and this is basically going to be enabling BlackRock to bring TradFi to Solana on chain. So interesting to see BlackRock coming to Solana, and Wormhole being like a major player in the space, like powering it. Some really cool stuff there. I haven't had a chance to digest most of the news since most of it's occurring like early AM Eastern. So like I'm just kind of seeing it as I'm waking up. But awesome to see some of the stuff from there. I'd say Kicks, Greeny, have you seen anything interesting come out of Solana Breakpoint yet? I'm curious.
Wait, so this is not token 2049?
No, we've already moved on. That was so earlier this week.
Yeah, I saw some weird breakdancing where a guy showed his abs. I don't know. I just feel like as a man, just like watching a dude dance and then show his abs, I didn't like it. Okay. Like I'm watching that. If we're in person, then I'm going to show my belly when you show your abs, and I'm going to say, "Come at me." but just seeing it online, it was weird to me. But I guess the Solana boys liked it because Solana's what, above 150 right now?
Yeah,
Or is it close to
150.
160?
Woo! We're cooking right now.
Cooking.
All right. So other news coming out of Singapore. I think this was announced somewhere in Singapore. I want some gut reactions here. Ansem's fighting BitBoy, an influencer fight club. What do you put the odds of that fight at? Kix, let's start with you.
Ansem's completely out of shape based on the last fight.
He's got no December.
He's got no stamina. I think he now to December he'll probably keep hurting. He won't take the gym seriously. I think BitBoy has that dog in him. I think he's very stocky, and so he's going to get in underneath and close, and just beat him down over a couple rounds. So I'd put my money on BitBoy for sure. Also, I think he's got access to some high end stimulants, as we can see from some of his videos. So he's definitely going to have the stamina for the fight.
What do you think, Sig?
Yeah, I'm on BitBoy. The guy's unhinged. I feel like Ansem is a bit complacent. Like he hasn't got that sort of like fire in him. You know, BitBoy's been through a lot. He's been through a lot these last 12 to 18 months, both professionally and personally. And I think he probably has a lot of anger he wants to take out, and Ansem is going to be the target. So my money's on BitBoy. I don't see Ansem being able to catch up. And also, I mean, do you remember BitBoy's last fight? In like the first second, he just came out just like, so, you know, BitBoy every time. Even though Ansem, if Ansem was on form, he has the height and he has the reach. So he is actually physically probably has more of an advantage, but I don't think he has the fitness or the sort of like the mental, you know, grunt to want to go after it. So my money's on BitBoy.
Greeny, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. I've got to go BitBoy. Like, he's a maniac, right? Like, and as Sig and Kix have touched on, like, he's gone through so much shit in the past sort of year or two. But I do agree, Ansem, if he can sort of get into fitness, stop being that party boy. I mean, his reach definitely is probably double the length of BitBoy's arms. So, I mean, that could be the play. So, I'll put my odds on BitBoy at the early mark.
I was like, I'm looking at this and I was like, when I saw this bet, I was assuming like BitBoy was going to be like 90% favored here. 37 just seems like super high chance for Ansem on Polymarket right now. There's not a lot bet. And I guess if like the fight gets canceled, it resolves 50-50. Is that normally right, Kick? So like if you're betting on Ansem, you're also betting on like a cancellation. You're still making money.
Exactly. You'd make money on Ansem if it got canceled. You make 40% or 30% off of that. So yeah, that's the same as that like Solana trade that I did, where it was like which will break all time first, Solana or ETH, and Solana was lower. And this was back when ETH was close to like 4,000. And I bet on Solana just because I was like, if Solana hits, I make 3x. But if neither hit, which looks like, I don't know, we got 3 months left. But if neither hits, then it's like 40%. But yeah, how much do you think these guys get paid to fight?
Honestly,
I think
don't
Ansem
think
said
that
he
much.
didn't get paid for the first fight.
Damn.
I listened to his interview with Thread Guy, and he said he didn't get paid for that fight. So that was interesting.
Who's like Kevin James, the comedian?
Yeah.
I watched a movie last night where he was like a school teacher and then he starts fighting MMA to make enough money to save the music department.
Was that School of Rock?
No. Another good movie though. But yeah, dude. If he can do it, anyone can.
Yep. All right, we'll move on. Speaking of Ansem and BitBoy fighting, let's move right over to let's do a little meme coin and macro TA. Like we've been seeing everything absolutely rip. Bitcoin's up 9% over the last week, ETH up 8%, Solana up 12%. Kix and Greeny, like let's do a little combo action here if you want to bring up some charts and like just talk about what you see in the market. I know like you've been talking like a lot Bollinger Bands and looking at some of the MACD curls, Kix. I wonder if like you're seeing anything here that's kind of like flip the market bullish. And Greeny, I'll bring you up first and we can see what you're looking at here and we can talk a bit about Bitcoin and like where we're going right now.
So I'm still very much in this. This is a bull flag, right? So like this is a weekly bull flag. And obviously this is on the daily chart. So for me, I like just be patient really. And anytime the market goes into fear, that's a great accumulation period during a bull market. So right now, these are the sort of ranges I'm looking at. So for me, the red line symbolize like a current low time frame range. You've got obviously the wicks of late August there, and then the liquidity that we saw, that massive market-wide dump on the 4th of August. So I'm currently watching this as that sort of mini range and looking for swing trades off multiple levels, whether it's the 0.5 level or the 0.25 level or the 0.75 level. For me to change sort of macro bullish, I want to see a close above this level here. So that's about 64.5 or 64.3K. Once you close a daily candle above there, then technically that is a higher high compared to this high on the 24th of August. So for me, I still very much am patient. I still think we probably consolidate for a little bit longer while rates do come down, whilst liquidity starts to get injected. But yeah, pretty much that weekly close there is also the daily close that I would love to see Bitcoin close above to see us sort of continue in a more bullish trend and then look for maybe a breakout towards the end of this year out of this sort of bull flag that I'm watching.
Kix, you have any thoughts on these levels here?
Yes, I do. First of all, love Greeny's analysis, and I also think there, regardless of the long-term macro, there's always some really interesting short, term setups. Like I think alts looked pretty good on shorter time frames. Let me see if I can share this. Okay, let me pull this tab out. That way I'm not showing our screens. Alrighty, boom, bada bing, bada boom. So this is ETH right here on the monthly, right? Once again, I'm a big MACD guy, right? So I like to look for these MACD. Get out of here, dude. I like to look at these MACD curls. So you can see in 2021 going into 2022, we had that negative curl. That's when we had the big bleed down. So right over here, you can see like we topped out right here. That was the top of the dark greens. Now we're rolling down. We're really close to having this bearish curl on ETH, which is interesting. We're also sitting right at this trend line right here, moving average on the monthly. ETH has definitely, as we can see in the price action, been lagging Bitcoin, and that's why we're seeing this kind of MACD curl happening way ahead of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been holding up phenomenally. I definitely see what Greeny's saying, where this looks like some sort of like bull flag, bullish consolidation. It's still doing that kind of negative pattern here. So I still do think it's not out of the question. Just like we saw with ETH, where we go down and we retest this moving average. I don't think it's out of the question for that to happen. And if we look at 2019 down here, that a lot of people have been comparing it to, I could see something very similar happening, right? Which is where we have this like classic like meltdown dump, then we have the rally up to the top of the range. Same kind of thing, right? Where we have these like big candles, but kind of you could call that a bull flag right there, right? And then it sits at the trend line. This meltdown was, of course, COVID, and then we kaboom back up after some consolidation. So that outcome, once again, doesn't seem crazy to me too, right? We have this, then we have the big like poop down, which was right there, rally up to the top of the range. Now we're chopping. So do we go and retest this moving average before we spike back up? To give an example of what a bearish MACD curl looks like, this is Matic. There's not a ton of data on it, right? Because it's only been around since 2020, 2021. But this is on Coinbase. Let's see if we can get. Does this have a longer time range? No, it doesn't. But anyways, you can see the bearish curl right here that happened in June going into July. And you can see Matic just puke. And of course, you can say this is due to factors with Matic switching to Pol, or just them as a crypto, company or what they're doing. but just showing what happens when when you break down into the red. It's definitely not crazy to get a little puke off bleed. So I am like hopeful that Bitcoin or crypto does well. I still hold some Bitcoin. I still hold some ETH. I do think it's potential that we could see some more blood before then we see even better upside, right? Here's an example of Ronin, right? Ronin bouncing right off the trend line. So we're seeing a lot of things catch the trend line. And you could make an argument that, hey, this could be a good time to buy while it's sitting on the trend line. You can see here on the weekly, there's a lot of nice looking weekly setups on the MACD, right? Where we've already bled out into the red and now it looks like we want to curl up into the green. So I think potentially if you're bullish and look at the setup here, right? Where it's just kind of consolidating down here at the lows and it could very potentially rip up. I'd say it's definitely more of a risky bet, but if I was looking at potential opportunities over the next end of the year, I think that there's potential that you see some crazy action in alts, maybe even more than the majors. There's obviously more risk involved in that. But I think if you're going to take risk, you could potentially take risk on the alts over the next 3 months and you could hit some real home runs if you're looking for more of a trade than a long-term investment. But yeah.
Yeah, speaking of shorter term investments, we've seen meme coins absolutely ripping over the last couple days with the majors. We've seen a lot of the majors up 20-30%. I know Popcat's a big one, up 43%. Some of the larger ones, Pepe, WIF, all up over 10%. Greeny, are there any meme coins you're looking at here and anything interesting you're seeing in the market, potentially like good opportunities to jump in or something that's a little bit interesting?
Yeah, there's quite a few meme coins that found Kix has really alluded to. You want to be buying when there's probably red in the market, right? Because you don't want to be top blasting into any altcoins, into any meme coins, into Bitcoin at the tops because your risk to reward just isn't there, right? So something like MOG here, I sold a lot of my MOG. I got a lot of hate on the timeline up here at about the $600 to $700 million range, but it was clearly going to break this trend down here, which it did. And I wanted to see it come down, retest lower levels, and I'll just clean up this fib now. And we saw this liquidation event on the start of August, and that was my target. I said, look, if we revisit this, likely I'll start to buy spot again. And literally, yeah, we revisited that level, and
that's the perfect setup when you retest the liquidation puke.
Yeah, exactly. That's prime time. I think I'm just having internet connections. Let's see.
You sound good.
No, that's good to hear. But no, so I like to use the Fibonacci retracement levels. I like to see previous macro support levels tested. So if you do look, that level as well was when we faced a lot of resistance earlier in April this year. So something like MOG, something like WIF, this chart looks insane for me. WIF could easily do something like this arrow in the coming months into the new year next year. So for me, I like to find risk to reward entries like this. Giga is another one that I've had my eyes on for a while. There's a few lower caps, which we might talk about later in the show, that I have obviously been swing trading. But now, and Pepe is very similar to these charts as well, where your risk to reward at levels right now are far superior to when it was in March, in April, May, June, July. So, and like Kix said, we're starting to reach levels where BTC dominance is starting to maybe top out. So that means that you're seeing that these meme coins and these altcoins are going to rally a lot harder compared to Bitcoin and probably even Ethereum as well, and likely outpace Solana over the coming months as well.
Greeny, I wanted to ask, when Kix was talking just previously, he mentioned that we could see some sort of blood on the streets, and I saw you nodding your head to that. Where do you see that coming from?
I just think that's just still everyone is so bullish because we got a 0.5 rate cut, right? But that takes so much time. And I've been listening to the show, and I know Kix is pretty much in the same ballpark as me, right? It takes time for that to trickle down into the economy, for people to be wanting to spend their money, to invest in risk on assets, to be a bit more risk on with their sort of with their assets that they want to accumulate, right? And so that matched with global liquidity, which is on the rise, like money to supply is starting to increase, which we haven't seen this cycle really increase too aggressively just yet. So those two matched together, I think it just leads to more patience in the market before we do start to probably see the market move up. Probably, I think maybe the end of Q4 we could start to see some all-time highs. Maybe like I think maybe Christmas will be a great time for all of us. But for me right now, I still very much am patient, and like I showed you guys before, I still wait for the technical analysis to show me that we are sort of changing these highs. So once we close above these levels, then we want to close above this high, then we want to close above that high. So it's a patience game for me, and the economy takes time to trickle down, right? And liquidity takes time to trickle down.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Just like if you had one indicator of like when the party would start again, it would be this Bitcoin chart setting a new higher high. I think that's like a great thing to look for, and not like a single wick higher, right? But like a thick ass green candle higher high. I think that would be the sign that it's like, okay, like Bitcoin is saying I may want to break out of this range, and that's going to send everything. And yes, like waiting for it to get to there, you're going to miss some of the cream on the top, especially with alts, but you probably reduce your risk factor making entries and stuff like that. So I love that as like if you had one indicator to look for as to like when the party could be back on, it would be Bitcoin setting a higher high on that like last 3-4 month trend. But I think like the thing here is to be like try to make some good entries, because if the party goes on, it could be great. But I think going bananas right now, to Greeny's point, when like everybody's like getting so euphoric on the timeline, when if you look at the chart, it's like we were higher 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago on Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, why are we so much more euphoric and bullish when you look at like any chart and nothing looks better than it does a couple of weeks ago? It's just that we're like going up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And to me, that's not a sign of confidence. That's almost like a sign of like, not desperation, but like please this be the one. It's not like this is the one. It's like, please, can this be the time that we break out of the range? I
think people are a lot more impatient this cycle because we set a new all-time high pre-halving, right? And so that's the first time we've broken the 4-year trend. And so people are like super like impatient. They want the riches now. Like if you look at the history of how long it takes price action to go from halving to peak, we still can trend for a very long time and peak in middle of next year. And I still would say that's on time for previous cycles. So consolidation now, the longer we consolidate, the more bullish I actually get for higher and longer bull market next year.
Totally. I mean, that's the thing is like the springboard setup, right? Yeah. If you move up to like, I think that's part of the reason why we're consolidating now for such a long period of time is because we went up so quick front running the ETFs that like the market needs a lot of time to absorb that price action. What I will say is like in May, in June, when I was like the market feels shaky and definitely some alts got blown out from June until now, Bitcoin has held up really, really, really well. Like really well. Like definitely like Bhutanese level of accumulation by somebody out there.
Yeah, well, I agree. Like you still got the institutional demand, right? You've got banks, you've got governments, you've got hedge funds, you've got all of those people starting to really value Bitcoin as that sort of crux of your long-term portfolio that outperforms probably everything else, right? Like gold, stocks, bonds, everything you want to call across the market. So I think people have really clued on to Bitcoin specifically, and that's why we haven't seen Ethereum do well at all in terms of ETF inflow, in terms of price action, in terms of people actually using the blockchain with on-chain volume. And so for me, that's why Bitcoin is holding up a lot better compared to a lot of altcoins and specifically Ethereum really at the moment. So yeah.
Where do you think we are in this cycle, Greeny? I know a lot of people are saying like it's early cycle. They're targeting 2025. Some people said we haven't even started this bull cycle yet. Like, what are your thoughts on like exactly where we are in this crypto cycle?
I still think we're pretty much mid-range. Like as long as we don't like the sooner we pump, the sooner we are close to the end of the cycle. So I think the longer we consolidate in this bull flag on this weekly, even monthly now bull flag that we're starting to form. And like Kick said, we still have room. Like we still could retest liquidity down at 43K. There's no ruling that out until we start to make higher highs. But right now, I'd say we're mid range to the 75% range of this bull cycle. However, if we do consolidate for longer into 2026, 2025, I definitely think that we might be more towards the mid range, if not a little bit earlier. So yeah, it is. Yeah. It's very hard to speculate right now.
I would almost argue if Bitcoin goes to 43K, you will get a higher Pico top than if it doesn't, right? Because of like the springboard setup. Basically, like if it just consolidates and bleeds down to 43K and then springboards, we could go to like 160 versus I feel like if we don't get a little bit more blood, I still think we can go higher. But once again, if you look at pre-COVID, if you look at like the springboard setup, I think that's why, yes, liquidity, money, everything is part of the reason why it went so high. But it's also because we went to like 15K and then like consolidated all the way down to like 8K and then went pretty much up only to 60 something.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, sorry, and on the back of that as well, because obviously we're talking about Bitcoin mainly, but what are your thoughts on ETH because it's been lagging so much this cycle. Obviously, a lot of the attention has been going to Solana. Bitcoin as an ETF has been incredibly successful. But how are you looking at ETH this cycle?
That's a great question, Sig. For me, like if you were around last cycle, you would have, and this is the chart I was literally pulling up, right? So it is in such a bearish trend. Like we have set lower lows, lower highs for, I don't even know. I think it's like 2 years now, macro. And so for me, like cryptocurrency being my third cycle, it's all about narratives, right? So obviously 2017, that was ICOs. That was a huge meta. Last cycle, it was obviously NFTs, it was DeFi, it was Ethereum was the crux of everything, right? Everyone wanted to build on it. Everyone wanted to trade on it. Everyone wanted to buy NFTs on it. And this time we've seen liquidity be a lot more spread. However, the main narrative this cycle has been Solana. And so Solana has really been that one that has outperformed against Ethereum and outperformed against Bitcoin. And so for me, I just don't see Ethereum, like it'll be a lagger in terms of performance this cycle. And I just don't see it I was looking at some evaluation today, and I think it could push towards about 9,000 if we see a really long cycle, if we do see liquidity start to increase across the board. But for me, I still think your better risk to reward right now is probably looking at altcoin plays in the coming weeks. I definitely think meme coins, some of those strong meme coins definitely outperform a lot of strong altcoins in terms of utility. But Ethereum for me is probably, I think it just needs to figure out its story, right? I'm pretty sure Kix alluded to this earlier in the week. What is Ethereum? Is it trying to compete with Bitcoin or is it trying to compete against Solana? Is L2's is that bullish for Ethereum as an L1 or is that actually bearish in a macro sense? So it's just there's a lot of ambiguity around it. So for me, I just want to probably avoid a trade like that at the moment. However, meme coins on Ethereum are thriving. Like you've got Pepe, you've got Mog, you've got SPX, you have Nero. So there's still a world on Ethereum that does well. But for me, holding the actual asset of Ethereum, I probably just avoid that for this cycle.
So are you bullish both memes and alts on Ethereum? Like in terms of Ethereum, alts that I'm just come to mind. You have all the L2s, Base, Blast. You have some other protocols, Uniswap, etc. on Ethereum. Are you avoiding Ethereum alts altogether and just looking at memes, or are you looking at kind of any alt as its own separate bucket in that scenario?
Yeah, I'd probably look at any other alt in its separate scenario because I want to test its strength against Bitcoin first, and then I probably want to test that strength against Solana's altcoins. So when I look at altcoins, I still think something like Radium, something like Jupiter, something within that sort of ecosystem likely outperforms a lot of Ethereum altcoins. And the meme coins are probably where I see the Ethereum returns for at least me and the type of trader that I am.
Yeah, I know Easy's been pretty big on Radium, and his main thesis is that the pump fund LPs graduate to Radium, and the fees that are collected are on Radium. Is this one you've been looking at at buying. I brought up the chart here. It seems like it's been consolidating for, most of this year.
So this was one that I bought middle of last year. So I bought this at 50 million market cap. I don't know what the market cap is now. I think I'm up quite a bit. I think in terms of price, that was about 0.2, 0.15, I think I got in. So for me, my bull case then was pretty much, this is before Pump Fun, before meme coins, anything like that, was people are going to go to Solana. People are going to trade on Solana. This is before Jupiter was even big as well. And I was like, okay, where are they going to go to trade? It's probably going to be Raydium, right? So Raydium's better than Orca. So I'll probably think it's probably a better trade that capacity. I then dove into a bit further. I then realized they did have liquidity pools. And that's obviously thrived even more in the sense that we've had meme coins dropping on there every single day now. So Raydium still remains, like you just said, Ray, probably a really good accumulation right now between, I think it's about 1.39 was the level I was watching a couple of weeks ago. And I think it did dip to about that level. So for me, Raydium still probably is a great risk to reward, even though it does have all of this overhang above it. And I promise you, it probably never makes another new all-time high because it was literally dropped at the end of last cycle at 2021. But for me, this still could rally to $10 very easily because it is generating revenue. It's a protocol that people use. People use the liquidity to farm meme coins, to farm altcoins on Solana every single day. And I don't see that stopping, right? Because the Solana narrative is where people want to be this cycle.
So I'll give you some time to pull up some charts. Two things I'm interested in here. You can pick your poison. Either low cap meme coins as a whole, and our audience loves low cap meme coins, or like the Nero battle on ETH. And so like looking at the Neros and like what your thought is there. We've talked about it a bit with the Binance listing of the lower market cap Nero, sending that, and then the other one actually recovered a bit yesterday. I think it was up like 50% yesterday. I'll let you pick your poison here and like kind of dive into one of those too.
Well, I'll go, like, people know me as the meme coin man, so I'll pull up some meme coins. Hold up. Let me sort that out. So like, I won't go too low in terms of market caps. What I've been sort of focusing on more so recently is the swing trades, right? So pretty much what Kix and I were talking about earlier in the show is waiting for it to reach levels where it's either retesting lower support or retesting lower Fibonacci levels. So again, I've done this with the Bidoggo community. I've got some YouTube tutorials on how to use this tool. But something like Snoofy, as you can see, it found a low down here. I didn't time the low, but I was watching it. It is technically, again, a bullish wedge forming here. We then found support at the 0.618 multiple times. We then have broken out from this wedge. So something like this is a beautiful trade that I like to take. And I did get into this last night at about 9.3 million. Another one that I recently took is Selfie. So this one, again, it came down, it retested just above,
beautiful chart,
just above its 0.886, and bang, it set a higher low, and now we're off to the races.
And it's just following that line, that bottom trend line, like.
And this again, like Sigma, the time to buy was literally about a week or two ago. So for me, this is
what's that, like a 3 or 4x from that bottom?
Yeah, this is a 4x on this one. Yeah, so
that's a really nice setup.
So like, there's no, like, I patiently wait for price to come to me. And so there's a couple trades that I am looking at. Let me just pull them up. They might have pumped. I haven't looked at them today. Yeah, no. So W Dog. So for example, this one here. Now I use a lot of TA, but I also like to sort of look at the holders. So I use holder scan to see whether people are buying it, whether it's whales, whether it's retail, whether it's like manipulation, those types of things, whether it has a volume bot. All of those types of things come into my analysis. And then I look at the TA and I go, okay, I want to buy this. So I caught this, I think it was yesterday around this 0.5 level. It did break out. It looks like we're retesting this sort of range here. I mean, I could probably make it there as well. And we're retesting this, and likely this is a bullish breakout, okay, where we retest and then off to the races up here to retest all-time highs. But like I always say, you want to be making sure that you have invalidation levels, because as a trader, it's good to have profit levels and it's always good to have invalidation levels. So I've avoided being in the trenches because the returns aren't there. We've seen it all on the timeline. Unless you're spending hours upon hours every single day. And I mean, I have done that and you can do it, But for me, it's like a simple swing trade like this is an easy way to take 10 Sol and flip that over and over and over again. And you can make literally hundreds of Solana doing this every single day if you just find the nice setups.
Without staring at Pump That Fund for 8 hours a day. Like back in March
Exactly.
2021, I used to have the Nifty Gateway trade activity on one of my screens as I was working on the other, and I knew like every single trade coming in, and I'd see people get these 6 snipes. I'm like, maybe if I just watch this, I'll catch one of those 6 snipes. But it was a big waste of time. It was better just to look for the opportunities and trade. I'll tell you what, though, Snoofy looked like something I like to do on Tuesday nights at Burning Man. But that chart looks great. But is this bubble maps?
Yeah, I was looking at the Rap Dog bubble maps. Do you ever look at bubble maps when you're doing your holder analysis, Greeny?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And I use I think I just pulled that up now. Let me pull that up as well. Have you got much share screen? So holder scan. This is one that I like to use as well. So I use bubble maps on BullX, and I obviously use holder scan as well. So I'm looking at a range of different things. So this one here is it's going to break down. This is the premium version for a small fee, I think it is. But as you can see, you can break down holders and how much they own. So how many holders own above 10K in this particular one. And you can keep track of this over day to day or hour by hour. It shows you, again, breakdown even further. And then it shows you holder trends. So if I see a really nice setup, right, where it's retesting the 0.786 or it's breaking out of a bull wedge, I then come over here and I want to see new buyers stepping in. I want to see top holders decreasing. I want to see holders across the board increasing. Okay, all of those types of things. A few other tokens do have holder time frames as well if they're an older token. So that's also one that this platform shows you. So for me, that's how I like to then find a really good trade. And like I just showed you with Sigma, Selfie, WDog, I traded that. Kobe was another one I swing traded. Giga, we swing traded from 133 million to 200 million now. So it's like I find trades like that, and that's how I usually go about it.
Yeah, I love to see it. This has been so informative. And just like I was saying about that Bodalgo's Discord holder presentation you did, a lot of people walked away from that learning a lot and how to trade. And I think a big part of that too is like setting your exit levels and making sure that you're taking profit or you're stopping losses if what you're trading, falls out of the ranges you predicted, which I think a lot of people tend not to do when they're swinging for the fences. They're trying to catch every 4x, 100x, etc. But that's like one of my biggest takeaways from watching how you operate in the space. Really appreciate that. And hopefully, I'm sure everyone learned a good amount. But we're going to move on.
Right.
We're going
just got a quick question for Greeny. Greeny, sorry, I know you said something like, I think, let the charts come to you. I can't remember, but you said something about being patient before. Before this interest rate cut, were you going into this thinking meme coins should pump when we have a 50 basis point cut? Or were you just completely ignoring what sort of what the macro, what was going on in the macro with that cut and just looking at what the charts were saying?
Definitely charts, because like price doesn't lie, right? And so price always shows you probably ahead of news what's going to happen. Obviously, going into that event, we did see quite a lot of volatility as expected. But for me, I waited. We found a lot of, like I said, MOG reached really good levels. So I bought again. With reached really good levels, I bought that, etc., etc. But I definitely do take a fundamental analysis going into trades like that, because at the end of the day, if you don't understand what's happening fundamentally, how are you going to understand what a little micro cap meme coin is going to do? So it definitely does all play a part in the decisions and the trades that I take.
Cool. Thanks. Ray, sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry for cutting you off there, Sig. Yeah, we're going to jump into week 11 of Top Dog. We're going to have Greeny's live Top Dog debut, which is going to be a ton of fun here. We're going to kick it off with last week's resolutions. For anyone who hasn't played along with Top Dog, basically we ask about 5 questions every week. The panelists answer, and you can answer in both the YouTube comments and you can comment on Twitter. We're going to be taking in all of your answers, and you can jump onto the leaderboard. So play along with us as we play this. We're going to go over last week's resolutions, the questions from last week and how they resolved. Spoiler alert, everyone did not do well last week. A poor week for everyone except for yours truly, who took the contrarian take on a lot of these bets. So last week's resolutions: how much will the Fed cut rates by? 50 bips. I was the only one who took this, I believe. Number 2, will Trump say cat at his Nevada rally? This is coming off the heels of the debate where he was talking about eating the cats and eating the dogs. with Kamala Harris. He did not mention it at the Nevada rally. He was distancing himself from that narrative. Number 3, Karate Combat Influencer Fight Club. We had Tactical Investing versus Barney, and Barney was a pretty heavy favorite by the panelists and PO. But what happened there was they went after it like very quickly. It was a very heated battle, and Barney ended up dislocating his shoulder almost immediately.
What an idiot.
Yeah. So
I think
Tactical
I said
Investing. got the
tactical
win.
investing. I think I got that one right last
You
week.
did. It was me and you on Tactical Investing, Sig. We had Nick's Subway viral video with Gary Gensler. Will that hit over or under 600 or 750K views? I think it was at 600 at the time. It went under. It only got up to 700K.
I got that one right.
Yeah, the Twitter video algorithm basically serves it up, and then at some point it just completely shuts off, and it never gets views again. And we must have hit that just shy of the 750K. And the final question was Trump's World Liberty Financial Twitter space, over under 75 minutes. That went way over. We went 2 hours and 23 minutes on that space.
Sheesh.
Yeah, that was a long one. Looking over at the standings, we have Bo Puppo maintaining his lead in total points, but Nick, while abstaining last week, taking
He's
over
abstaining
in
to keep his percentages up, dude. We
Yeah.
all know the fucking game he's
100%.
playing, dude.
100%.
Yeah, he clamored for the percentage basis, got lucky and got to 67%, and then he retired essentially.
This is like a NFL QB saying I'm the MVP because they had 2 starts and they went 2-0, and they're like, I should be the MVP because I'm undefeated. You played 2 games, dude.
Yeah. That was a tough one this week for you, Ellie. I saw that one out of 5, but like you didn't lose much ground, But Puppa only got 1. Only 2 people got more than 2 correct. T-Ward with 3. Yep, T-Ward making his comeback here. But we have an exciting list of questions today for the panelists. I'm excited to get into these. We'll jump in. Starting off with the first one: does Bitcoin break 65K in the next week? Oh, yeah, Kicks misting himself, getting ready. Let's start with you on this one, Sig.
Can't we ask Greeny first?
No.
Can we ask, no, okay. It's 65K in the next week. It
At any
already
point,
went
does it cross
Okay.
65K?
It went over. I think it went over 64 this morning. If I was listening to the stream right now, Greeny says it needs to break that daily high. Is that 66? Was it 66? So I'm gonna say yes, because my gut is no. So I'm gonna say yes. Basically, I'm going against my gut this whole week.
I love it.
So I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, I remember pre-show Signal's like, I had a tough week. I'm just going to go the opposite of everything I think is going to happen. All right, Signal on yes, Bitcoin breaks 65K. What about you, Kicks?
And it's not holdover. It's just it could literally just go over.
Wick over on a 1-minute candle.
You go over on a 1-minute candle. Dude, it retraced almost all the way down below blue line moving average. Let's see how high up 65 is. It could definitely hit it. I'm gonna say lower. It's close though. We could definitely get a nice little juicy spike over it. And it doesn't even have to hold over it, just has to wick over it.
My gut says no, but I'm gonna say yes.
Greeny.
Yeah, I'm actually quite undecided on this one. But I'm I'm gonna say yes because you clarified as a wick. So I think it's gonna pump and wick above 65.
Awesome.
Fucking love
I'm
it.
gonna join Kicks on the no side here. I don't think we're gonna do it. I think we've dropped a bit today. I don't know what else is gonna pump it over the next week, but we'll have to see. Got Mr. Yellow saying yes. Couple other comments in there, but we'll jump over to the second question now. We got a little non-crypto question here. Transformers 1 is a movie that's opening in the box office this weekend. Going over to Polymarket, Kicks' bread and butter. We're going to say over under 40 million opening weekend domestic box office.
What? Wait, who's playing Megan Fox? I feel like Transformers 1 came out the other day. Like Megan Fox was hot like the other day and it's already coming out. How much have I aged? Like, anyone else feel like this?
So I think this is
I'm
like
fucking old now.
an animated version.
Oh, it's animated.
Oh, it's animated. Okay, right. Sorry, I thought they were redoing the Megan Fox one.
Is it animated like they did Spider-Man, or is it like normal animation?
I did not dive that deep into
Come
it.
on, man.
Yeah, we need to know, is this like Pixar or is this like
Here we go.
Oh no, this
Okay.
looks like fucking like you'd see this on Nickelodeon animation. Oh, actually, it's pretty good.
This is quite Spider-Man.
Brothers. You ready? Always ready.
Ooh, that's a cool visual.
Hey, watch where you're going. What did you say? It's not like you
All right, we played a little bit of the trailer of the video there, a little animated Transformers action. So box office revenue, Polymarket has the over 35 heavily favored here. So I went with 40 million for the line, over under 40 million. Let's
Okay,
start
I'm
with,
gonna do
let's go backwards. Let's start with Greeny.
I was literally trying to look up animation this year, but no, I'll go over. I'll go over.
All right, Greeny on the over. Kicks.
I'm just seeing how many 6 to 11-year-old kids are alive in the United States. 24.3 million. You divide that by 60%. Mostly boys would want to go to it, so that gives us 15 million. $15 a ticket. Yeah, I'll go over.
Over for Kicks. Signal.
My gut says over, so I'm going under.
That's smart.
Because
That's smart.
you know the weather's getting colder now. More people want to be going to the cinema on the weekends. There's less time at the park for this specific age that they're targeting. More likely have rain. So yeah, I'm going under 40, even though my gut says it should be.
Last time I tried to play a movie market was that what was that one?
Yeah, the Gossip
Blake
Girl
Lively?
one with Blake Lively, which had a
Love
whole
her.
bunch of drama after that one. But
Ryan
that
Reynolds
went-
doesn't know how good he's got it. You know what I mean?
no, he doesn't. They both got each other, but that film didn't even hit the numbers that we said it was going to hit. So I'm going under.
All right, I'm going to go under as well. Next up, will Thread Guy interview Trump at the gala this weekend? Gala is on Sunday, I believe. Polymarket has a 56% chance he will interview him in October. The way this resolves for this bet is the same as Polymarket, but at the gala or surrounding the gala. Just needs to ask one question and have Donald Trump answer, and there has to be footage. I'm going to go first. I'm going to say yes. I think he's going to get it. I think he has the experience and tenacity needed to make it happen. So I'm going to go yes on this one. Signal.
I'm going to go no on this one, which means my gut says yes, but we're going to go no.
All right. Signal doing the opposite. She's on the no here. Kicks.
No.
No for Kicks. Greeny.
I'm gonna go yes. I think he will. I agree with your take, Ray. I think he's just bloody done Andrew Tate. I think Donald Trump, he'll get him in that interview or just one question in that round table, whatever the setup is. I reckon he'll get him.
So it's just one question. You can get him on a little selfie shot, huh? Hey, Trump, you like burger? You like crypto burgers? Yes. Boom. It's a yes.
Hey, Trump, how you feeling?
Secret Service isn't going to let Thread Guy near him with that haircut. They're going to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. We got to shoot her. We got to shoot her with that haircut.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Ah, man, I had so many jokes I wanted to say there. God, thank God my filter's good today.
All right. Next up, we're going price at the beginning of on Friday morning before the show. Is PopCat sitting at $1 billion? So PopCat has pumped to 900 million over the last 7 days on an absolute heater. Does it cross 1 billion? Is it sitting at 1 billion before the show next Friday? Greeny. No for Greeny. See, I was in my bullish move when I made these questions. I was like, oh, it's close. It could get there, but I'm like doubting myself a little bit now on this pullback. I'm gonna go yes though. I'm gonna say we're gonna be bullish. We're gonna keep rolling. We're going yes here. We're gonna hedge out of the Bitcoin no 65K.
That was
with a
me.
yes.
That was my hedge. Yeah.
Sig, what are your thoughts?
My
PopCat
gut says
over under
no.
1 billion next
My
Friday.
gut says no, so my answer is yes.
All right, signal with me on the yes. Kicks.
Never seen a pop cat in my life. It's not even a real cat. I'm gonna go with no.
Love to see it. All right, we're gonna keep on the meme coin train. We're gonna choose your meme coin fighter. Highest market cap by next Friday. We've got 3 here that are all similar. We have Mog, Bohm, and Mew. I'm gonna bring up the price charts here on each one, or the at least the prices so you can get an idea. We have Mew in the lead right now at 477 mil. Book of Memes slightly behind at 468, and Mog, the underdog, at 426. Which meme coin holds the highest market cap by next week's show. I'll go first here. I think it's going to be Mog. Like, even though they're at the bottom of this ranking currently, I think that their continued momentum is going to push them above some that may not have like the same viral communities. Let's jump over to Signal next.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go Mog as well. That's my fight.
This one's tough for you to like go opposite because there's two opposites.
Yeah, yeah. I first thought Mew, but that's already like pumped quite a bit on the 7-day. So I'm gonna go Mog.
Greeny.
Yeah. Look, I've done a bit of TA. I'm undecided between Mew and Mog. I'm gonna go Mog because that's my bags. I've got Mog bags.
Love to
I
hear it.
respect it. I'm gonna go Mog here. By the way, wasn't it, Bohm is just like the perfect example of like the most artificial cabal shit of all time.
100%.
If you just like really like look back and think about that, how much it pumped in one day, and then immediately got like a Binance listing. Just most sus shit of all time. A lot of the people in this space, you know what I mean, that are like rich. You wonder how they got their money. It's fucking shit like that, probably, dude. Greeny, that dude's fucking legit. You can look at Greeny's trades. You can dial all up and be like, this dude made it. He made it the hard way. He didn't make it, giving
look
a
at that.
7-Eleven handy for some alpha.
Exactly, mate. He's a cunt, but he can read a chart.
Amen,
So
dude.
73% of the supply of Bohm is on Binance.
Look at that bubble chart.
at
That
that.
bubble chart looks like a fucking alien organism, dude. And everyone's like, it was organic. It was on the timeline for 24 hours. How'd you miss it? Yeah, okay, buddy.
I mean, these are all exchanges, though. These are all
Nah,
exchanges.
dude. Read a book, Ray. Okay, this is obviously if you've read a book on TA. This is a look at that. Yeah, see that? I don't even know what I'm looking. Is that Orion's belt? What is that right there? It's
Yeah,
an
when you're looking at
Orion belt
each
pattern.
bubble represents a holder. Connected bubbles represent transfers between the wallets.
Investigate the one in the right, the green in the right. I want
Or this
investigate all that over there. No,
Yeah.
the right, the first one.
Yeah, so
that one.
these ones over here, this cluster owns 1.3% of total
Yep,
supply.
that's them.
Yeah, so like that's a big one that's not
That's
tied to an
them.
exchange. This one owns 2.1%. But correct me if I'm wrong. Are these fairly normal for large meme coins in terms of total
Probably.
like holdings for one holder, Greeny?
Well, yeah, you can, particularly if it's like being listed on exchanges, if it does have marketing with calls out there, that type of shit. But you can have clusters, which is bullish, but you definitely don't want them to own too much of the supply. Or in this case, like I remember when this dropped, I actually missed it. And I think it went to 1.3 billion in a day. Yeah, as Kick said, like that's just stupid, mate. So no, I avoid something like this all the time.
Okay. And like this seems like, I mean, at first glance, I've looked at some bubble charts, but 56% of the supply in Binance seems a bit wild to me in terms of like.
Let's just say there's a guy at Binance that's looking into retirement after this one.
Yep. Well, that wraps up Top Dog for week 11. We're 11 weeks into Top Dog at this point. Want to do some quick GPT? How many weeks are left in the year? Got to figure that out. But we're gonna be running this all year. We're gonna come back at the end of the year and see who the winner is, crown him. Will it be Nick on answering 4 days worth of questions? Will it be Bo Puppo coming in, grinding day in and day out and still topping the leaderboard? Yet to see. Does anybody have any closing thoughts today before we wrap the show? Anything they want to get off their chest, talk about? Or
I love you all. I got a jet. I love you all.
That's perfect. Perfect way to cut it out. Thank you all for listening. This has been another episode of the Daily Bone podcast. You can catch us on all major streaming and podcast platforms. You can catch us on Spotify, Apple. Watch us on YouTube. This will be a great episode to tune into YouTube. Watch all of the TA action we did today. Thank you so much for joining us today, Greeny. It was excellent. We all learned so much. I'm sure the audience appreciates it as much as I do. Everybody, have a great day.